Hey Smoothers, it's Cam, and in this video I'm going to show you how to quickly and easily get all the ZWAT skins in Back 4 Blood. In order to unlock a ZWAT skin for a character, you need to beat the entire campaign on Nightmare difficulty, which means if you want to unlock the skins for every character, you'll need to do it 8 times. For those of you that are new to the channel, in the past I've made videos about how to speedrun the game, and for every video you use Evangelo because he's just the best character in terms of speedrunning the game and playing it solo. But since we can't use Evangelo to unlock every skin, I'm going to show you the fastest way to beat the game using any of the other characters. You can do this solo as I'm doing by just playing the game offline and you'll still unlock the skins. The worst cleaner to use for the strategy I'm doing is definitely Mom, and that's why for this video I'm going to be showing myself playing through the game as Mom to show you that the strategy definitely works and it's easier if you use any other cleaner. Somewhere within this video, I'm going to tell you about a super secret strategy that you can use in order to make getting the ZWAT skins insanely simple. So stick around and watch the whole video if you want to learn how to cheese. Otherwise, you can skip to certain levels if that's really all you're looking for. Alright, let's get into it. So this is the deck I used. By no means is it the perfect deck, but I used it and it worked. So you can go ahead and copy this or make your own version of something that looks like this. Getting into the game and starting Act 1. With the new update, we have randomized teams, which adds a little bit more RNG, so you might want to do some resets in order to get the best team. The cleaners you're going to want to have on your team are definitely going to be Evangelo, Holly, Carly, or Jim. In my opinion, those are all the best characters to have on your team because of their team buffs. But really, it doesn't matter. That will just make the playthrough a lot easier. Alright, actually finally getting into playing the game. In this first safe room, go and pick up the SMG because you'll move faster with it. And in the store, you're going to want to buy a grenade, pain pills, and a stun gun. Because we're not using Evangelo, this stun gun is going to be very important. The pain pills you'll be buying in every level. It's the only meds you should be buying because they apply quickly and they should last the entire level as we're just running through it. Grenades are just super handy for when the game spawns a special in front of you, like a tall boy, to throw at them. Even if it just stuns them, this will allow you to run by them. As you play through the acts, you should be collecting money and trying to get the upgrades so that your grenades will do more damage, and having extra slots for another stun gun or more grenades is also very useful. Some more blanket statements about playing through this whole game solo on Nightmare is to definitely be watching out for sleepers. If you get grabbed by a sleeper on Nightmare difficulty, it will call in a horde, and obviously calling in hordes, not a good idea. So as you play through the game 8 times, you're eventually going to learn where all the sleepers spawn. They spawn in the same general areas, and once you know their spawns, it becomes a lot easier. For this first level, as you're watching, I don't have much to say. This level, you're probably going to be resetting a lot because the RNG is crazy for just the first area inside the building. You can get really unlucky if there's enough specials and then you're screwed. But once you finally make it to the outside area, you're pretty much home free. It is a lot easier to make it to the safe room. I would like to add that they've dumbed down speedrunning in this game. You can no longer do a sprint jump without using stamina, so there's no point in sprint jumping until you reach the end when you're almost out of stamina. Then it is worth doing a sprint jump because you still get the distance without having to spend stamina because you don't have any stamina left to give. So that's a win. You should also be sprint jumping whenever you're shooting stuff because shooting slows you down. So shoot stuff while you're in the air. On to the second level, buy all the same stuff and then run your way all the way to the end of the tunnel where you have to head through this door. If it is an alarm door, shoot beside it and let the zombies break it down. For this part in the tunnels, you do not want to set off a horde because I'll tell you, it's just impossible if you set off a horde in here. So let them break it down. Once you head in there, there's usually a sleeper to your right, so make sure you take that out. And there could also be another alarm door. So do the same thing, shoot beside it. In this game, if a zombie hits an alarm door once, then you're allowed to open it or break it down yourself and an alarm will not trigger. Heading to the end of the tunnel, you will run into more doors. So I suggest while you're at a door, kill anything that's coming from behind you while zombies break down the door for you and then head through. You do have a grenade to use in a pinch if you ever run into a tall boy once again, or just if there's stuff blocking your path. The grenade is to be used to get through. Once you enter this next area where the ogre spawns, you should head up on top of the buses. It is definitely the safest route to take. Sometimes you can get unlucky and a special will spawn up there like what happened to me. All you have to do is juke them out. As they come down and climb off the bus, you just climb up on top of it. Run to the end. Because I didn't need to use the grenade, I used it on this last alarm door. If you use the grenade, just shoot this door down as you're jumping across these trailers. And then once you're inside, shoot the 2 sleepers. I think they always spawn on Nightmare, I don't know. And then you can head into the safe room. Or, if you want to feel like a true speedrunner, you can bonk your head on this wall and it ends the game because it just thinks you're in the safe room already. It's not really faster, it's just funny. Onto Pain Train, buy the same stuff, and head out the door. Take the same path I'm taking where you jump over this fence and run down to the swamp area. Once in the swamp area, it is, in my opinion, it's better to take the left side if possible. In my experience, it seems to be the safer way to get through the swamp. Once you get to this waterfall, jump down, and I suggest turning around because there is usually a lot of money hidden back here, which will be useful, obviously. And sometimes a sidearm will spawn here, which I suggest picking up if you have any character that has a melee weapon as a sidearm. It's definitely more useful to have some kind of sidearm that's a gun, especially if it doesn't share the same type of bullet as your main gun. Going through the train yard, your biggest problem is going to be sleepers. You can see here, I saw birds on the right, so I decided to go through this train car, but I know that almost always there will be a sleeper spawning in this train car, which is just something you'll learn as you play the game more and more. If sleepers are truly your biggest issue, I suggest playing through the game as Carly, because Carly gets wall hacks. Once you hit the button, run back and jump between the boxes and this train car. You will be doing this because for some reason the only path the Ridden can take to get on the train car is all the way at the end. So you just wait on the train car until they start coming up and then jump over to the boxes until they all jump back down off the train car. It's truly very simple. Once the mound of rocks gets high enough for you to jump over the train car, I suggest jumping from the boxes over to the stairs so you can head up and over. Jump the train car, watch out for the sleepers, and then head inside. Take the path where you jump over the railing onto this pipe because it's much faster than going down the stairs. This end area, as you go up these final steps, that's usually when you'll want to use your grenade because the game spawns a bunch of zombies, sometimes specials at the top of these stairs. That can truly be a pain in the butt. Alright, we're on to the crossing, which is somewhat a checkpoint for Act 1, so it's very important to beat this level. Make sure you use your 1 free use of the health cabinet on the wall. Whenever you find a health cabinet in the game, you should be using it because it gets 1 free use and you're playing solo. The big brain strategy is to let your bots heal you before you use the cabinet. That way you can get back to 100% health. And if you're feeling generous, you can ping the first aid cabinet and your bots will use it, which, I mean, the bots can be useful sometimes, but for real, they're brain dead. After leaving the safe room, we do not have enough speed due to all the nerfs to speed cards, so we are going to have to take the stairs like a normal person. Run across these pipes, shoot the propane tank, and then run along the left side of the bridge through the boat and get to the extraction point. Now, I've seen a lot of debate about whether or not pinging really makes your bots spawn on you faster. I think it does. I mean, it doesn't hurt to try anyways, because you're gonna need all your bots at the extraction point before you can continue on. Once Coach gives you the bomb, I recommend setting up the minigun and shooting the horde that the game spawns at the top here. Because if you don't, I have had multiple times where I run to the top and then some kind of special knocks me over the edge, which is honestly the most frustrating way to die in this game. After running down 2 sets of stairs, you can actually run out the big gaping hole in the boat. You can't miss it in order to get to where you have to place the explosives a little bit faster. After placing the explosives, you have 1 minute to escape, so it doesn't matter if your character goes down, just switch to one of the bots and try to get one of them off the boat. Oh, and also remember to pick up your stun gun at the end. If you made it this far, congratulations, we're on to the next section. And in my opinion, the most annoying level in Act 1. Well, I used to find it the most annoying. I've recently learned a trick that makes it a lot easier. So in order to do this trick, you're gonna run down to the gas station, shoot some zombies, until eventually you'll hear the breaker breaking out of the garage. Once you hear that, you're gonna wanna book it down the alleyway towards where the next objective normally is. Because we're playing the game a little out of order, there won't be any sleepers in the alleyway, which is really good for us because the annoying part of this level is you kind of need the bots to be alive towards the end, but I always found that heading through the alleyway, the bots just seem to keep dying. So by doing this, the bots are more likely to be alive once you head into the next part. But before we get to that, we have to deal with the breaker. And this is a good time to point out that you should never get caught inside the breaker's closing circle. So whenever a breaker spawns in the game, once it gets kind of close to you, it will spawn in a circle around it that will close in, and if you leave the circle, you'll get damaged. The way to get around this is to run outside of the circle within around 5 seconds of it spawning, and then you just stay outside of the circle and you will not take damage. This is something you should remember for playing through the rest of the campaign, because a lot of the time a breaker will spawn, but if you just run outside of the circle and keep running, you don't have to deal with it. Okay. Back to dealing with the breaker, I recommend kind of dodging it around this one SUV. For some reason, this SUV just doesn't blow up, which is why I'm suggesting this one. When I tried to dodge it around this one car, that didn't work. It blew up and killed me. So either use this SUV or blow up the car before you use it to dodge the breaker. After you kill the breaker, pick up your teammates and press the button. This is where you're going to use the grenade, because as the garage door opens, there's going to be hawkers inside, and there's generally a sleeper. So if you throw the grenade, it'll take all those out, and you're free to run all the way to the back. Watch out for sleepers as you're heading to the back. The reason you're heading towards the back is because you don't get swarmed as quickly as when you save the survivors towards the front. So head to the back, take down the survivors, and then this way, by the time you head into this one freezer and take down the third survivor, you'll probably start getting swarmed. But I found this freezer to be one of the better areas to be getting swarmed, because you have one entrance that you can just keep shooting at, and you should have 3 survivors to help you kill stuff. So you should be good now. Once you clear the way, take down the 4th survivor and then head towards the safe room. It's very important at this point. You should be watching out for sleepers, because the game will have spawned in every sleeper that should have been there down the hallways, and there's actually a few sleepers that spawn around the safe room, so just look out for them. In Bookworms, the biggest thing you're going to be looking out for is sleepers inside the library as you go around trying to build all the windows. I would also like to add that with this update, they added a weird thing that when you press the interact button, you drop whatever you're holding. This feature is honestly amazing. We all asked for it. It really adds to the game, and I'm really enjoying going up to a window and trying to place a board on it and then just dropping the board. That's my favorite thing. Okay, but for real, the library is actually really easy as long as you don't get hit by a sleeper and call in a horde. If you call in a horde, things get a little too spicy for the pepper. Even after leaving the library, sleepers are still your main problem. Getting to the hotel, since we're not as speedy anymore, we can't make the jump from the transport to the top of the hotel, so we will have to go through the bottom. Shoot the propane tanks, head inside, and guess what? You're gonna have to look out for more sleepers. How exciting. Anyways, make your way to the top. You have to kill a bunch of zombies before the people up top will actually open their door, because they're too lazy to help. After they do open the door, you simply just run out the fire escape to the end, and guess what? More sleepers at the end. Oh my gosh. Woohoo! Now we're on to Barroom Blitz. Now, the typical strategy for Barroom Blitz is to get yourself a bunch of barbed wire and put them at the 3 doors, and then Barroom Blitz becomes really easy. But sadly, with the update, they've made it so barbed wire is now a quick slot item. So unless you've bought any of the upgrades to have more slots or took a card specifically for this level, then all we have to work with is 1 barbed wire. So I actually do recommend taking the stun gun, but I'm going to show you that using 1 little baby barbed wire can still work. And in this, we will find that size doesn't matter, it is how you wiggle the worm. Truer words have never been spoken. After collecting all the money that's usually within this hotel, head over to the bar, and if you did for some reason choose to take barbed wire, put them at the doors. If you only have 1, put it beside the jukebox like I do, because we're going to be staying on top of the jukebox. The reason for this is because nothing can come from behind us, and we have a clear sight to all 3 entrances. Use your grenades whenever you see a tall boy or a reeker coming, and honestly, this level's really easy. The next level is also really easy. Special Delivery is one of the shortest levels in the game, and we have a strategy in order to find the crate even faster now. Instead of searching around for the crate once you get into this alley, you should actually be looking for a flashlight. The reason for this is that the crate will always spawn where the flashlight is pointing, and the flashlight is much easier to spot than the crate. So in this example, I see that the flashlight is at the end of the alley, pointing behind this car, so I know for a fact the crate is behind that car. Pretty sweet, right? Onto the diner, where we used to have a nice strategy in which we could put the turret on the roof and survive forever. This is no longer the case because with the patch, hawkers and stuff will now target you on top and just drag you down. But I found a way in order to make the turret roof glitch still work for us, kind of. So what you're gonna do once you finally get to the end, before you start the generator, take the turret and put it on the roof, but you need to do a weird jump where you turn around so that the turret is facing outwards. I could never get it perfectly around so that I could see everything, and I don't think it's actually possible, but as long as you can see a little bit, that's good enough. Your only threat are hawkers, because they can grab you off or shoot you and pin you. In order to get around this, we need to kill only hawkers and let all the other special ridden live. Because in this game, only a certain amount of special ridden are allowed to be in the level at one time. So as long as you only target hawkers, you should be fine up top. You will still need to pay attention because the survivors on the roof will keep killing specials. Hopefully they suck, because once they kill a special, another one will spawn, and you kind of just have to hope it's not a hawker. Woohoo! On to bad seeds. This level is honestly very easy. You should have enough stamina and speed in order to just run around everything and shoot all the nodes. One grenade at the end is useful to take out the last node, and then I suggest running away from where the bus floats down the river. This will lead the horde away. That way you're free to run across it and to the end. On Hell's Bells, it is very important that you buy the toolkit instead of a stun gun, because you're going to need it once you get to the one spot with the tow truck in the trailer. In the normal speedruns, if you watch any of those videos, we actually just jumped over the fence once we pressed the button on the tow truck. However, we don't exactly have a lot of speed with all the nerfs, making this jump a lot more difficult. It is still possible, but I found I needed to bump off of a zombie's head in order to make it. So to make this jump more consistent, we're actually going to use the toolkit and get the minigun that's always on the left. That way, after we press the button on the tow truck, we can climb on the minigun and then jump over the fence. Now you just run your way to the church. Don't open the church door until the objective changes, because you'll soft lock the game. While you're waiting, you can take down any of the bots if they died and are on the wall. And sometimes there's a health station that you can use. Before, I would always recommend pipe bombs for this level because they could distract the ridden while you put up the windows. But instead, I definitely do recommend the grenades, because whenever I lost this level, it was because a tall boy was inside the church. These grenades will just take those out, so it's a lot easier. It does help to have at least one bot alive to kind of protect you while you put the windows up. So the basic strategy is to close the door once you get inside and then put one board on every window. This will stop anything from getting inside anymore, and then you can just focus on putting the boards up. On to the next level, make sure you buy your stun gun back and a lot of grenades, because heading through this first area, this first gas station I think it is, you're going to need to use the grenades in order to get through it, because there tends to be quite a bit of zombies inside of this place and they really slow you down. But one grenade can handle all of that. As you run through, you will also need to look out for sleepers. Run to the end of the street, into the house with all the nodes, and then this is where you get to work killing all the nodes. Once you kill a set of nodes, I recommend running to the one bedroom on the upper floor, because this is definitely the best place to defend yourself while you wait for the nodes to regenerate. Eventually, you'll take out the last node and you can head outside and press the button right away. You don't have to wait for the bots anymore. Once the car lifts up, you can basically sprint all the way to the end of the level. Now, onto the last level of Act 1. This one, buy as many pipe bombs as you can, spend the rest of your money, and head on down. With all the U-Speed cards we picked, this level becomes really easy. Just throw a pipe bomb before you load the cannon, and you're good to go. Well done, you're done Act 1, we're on to Act 2. Here's the deck I used. Copy it, change it, I don't care, you do whatever you want. Once you start the game, you do want to buy the same things I'm buying in every store. So for the first level, we will need a one toolkit. Making your way to this parking garage, look out for sleepers, they're all over in this alley, and then you can use this toolkit to open up this one door. It is completely random whether this door will actually spawn in or not. If it doesn't spawn, you're gonna have to go around and kill all the nodes to move on to the upper level. So pray to the RNG gods that this door does spawn in. After exiting the parking garage and then heading across the scaffolding, since we don't have the speed we had before with all the speedrunning videos, we can't actually jump this gap. So instead, we're gonna jump over to the right. If you land on that bush, you won't take fall damage like I do. It's truly not a hard jump to make. After climbing the ladder and heading through the house, you have to go across this bridge, and then here's an actual good example of why you have to look out for sleepers while playing in solo. Since in this level, we needed the toolkit, we couldn't take a stun gun, and just watch how long it takes for the bot to shoot off the sleeper once it jumps onto me. This is why I trash on the bots so much. After getting past the bridge, you'll get to 3 doors that you have to go through. As you're coming up to them, jump and shoot at them. The grenade is also helpful to take down one of them. Onto the handyman. Before you go shopping, go ahead and shoot the door. That way, by the time you're done shopping, the ridden will have the door open for you. How nice. Once you get to the front of the police station, there's a few ways you can go about this. If it's an alarm door, you could shoot a little bit and let the ridden break it down from the inside. That way the alarm won't be set off. Or you can just say F it and shoot down the door yourself. You ultimately decide which way you want to go about this, but I will say if the alarm is going off, once you're inside, you should shoot all other alarm doors. That way, once you kill the other 2 nest nodes and have to come back to the police station, those alarm doors will no longer be a problem for you. If you got inside without the alarm going off, you definitely should take out these nest nodes first, simply because the police station is just not a good place to be when a horde is coming in, so it's awesome to get it done while you can. Heading towards the back, you should be going down to the left and up this hill. Look in the window, and if the nest nodes spawn here, you'll be able to shoot them through this window and then carry on. Heading into this back area, I mean, the nest nodes are all random, but a good trick, if it does spawn in this one back building here, the door on it is usually alarmed, so you should shoot beside it, and if there's any zombies inside, they will break it down for you, meaning you don't have to call in a horde. I was unlucky, and it seemed like no zombies were inside to break down the door, so I did it myself, which called in a horde and instantly spawned a tall boy behind this door, which was kind of bull, but whatever. As for the grenade that you bought for this level, you could save it in case you ever need it if you're getting swarmed, but I like to use it to take out the last large nest node in this first set, simply because I don't like going inside this building because you're basically trapped. You're not basically trapped, you are fully trapped once you go inside this building, so I like throwing the grenade in to kill it, that way I just can avoid it altogether. Moving on to the next nest nodes that are outside, my biggest tip I can give you is to shoot the ones that are down underneath this grate from up top. Going down there, once again, is a problem of you are trapped. There's only one exit and entrance. So once you're down there, if a tall boy or anything comes down, you're basically done. So just shoot them from up top and you'll be good to go. You may run into an issue of running out of ammo on this level. That does seem to become a problem as you go through it. So if you're ever running low, just go and take down one of the bots off the wall. At least one of them is probably dead by the time you run out of ammo, so take them off the wall and they'll instantly drop some ammo for you. Heading back toward this police station, I actually have a good example of the game just really trying to screw you over. The last set of nodes I had to kill was in this one back room, but once I started breaking down this door, there was a tall boy on the other side again, and a tall boy coming from behind. So since this isn't a real speed run, we don't need to go as fast as possible. So instead of trying to fight these two, I just ran back outside to the front of the police station until they followed me and then ran around them. Also, within the police station, there are red barrels all around. Those are not just for show. If a tall boy or any kind of special is beside a red barrel, go ahead and shoot it. Ayo, we're on to pipe cleaners. For this one, it's kind of up to you if you want to buy a toolkit or a stun gun, because down the road, you'll be using the toolkit to open up somewhat of a shortcut, but it doesn't really matter. But before we get to that, as you leave the safe room and run down these halls, you'll get to this one door. You can use a grenade to open the door faster or just shoot it down, doesn't matter. This switch will open the door from below. At this point, it is good to use one of the grenades to take out the horde that is generally behind this one door, or you can just wait it out until the ridden start running through, and then you can kind of just jump behind them and keep on going. In this part, Sleepers are the biggest issue, so that's why you might want to take a stun gun instead of the toolkit, but like I said, that's completely up to you. Eventually you'll get to this one area and you'll slide down. After making your way through the sewers, you'll eventually get to this one spot where there's a ladder. If you do have the toolkit, head up the ladder because this is where our shortcut is. Inside you'll find the health station and money, a bunch of cool stuff. If you don't have a toolkit, you will have to go to the bottom route, but it doesn't really matter, to be honest. Jump across this broken bridge and head up the stairs to press the button. Once you press the button, you can easily just wait on the outside on this walkway. I find that waiting out here is actually a good spot to survive. Most of the zombies will be funneling up the stairs. Some of them will come jump up the walkway, but you really only have to look in one direction. Once you're getting overwhelmed, you could jump across and head up the stairs on the other side. By this point, the one big door should be open enough for you to probably crouch under it. Head up the ladder and you're at the end of this level. Next level is Hinterland. This level you'll definitely need to buy as many grenades as you can because we'll need them for towards the end of the level. There's a bunch of nest nodes you have to take out, but before we get there, follow this route I'm taking where you jump off the waterfall and head down the river. Here is a good example with the breaker. This breaker spawns in, but that's not a problem. We're just going to keep on going. As you start coming towards this one building, there is usually an alarm door that is probably locked. So this is a good time to use one of your grenades. Head through this warehouse to the other side, shoot down the door as you're coming towards it, and then head up the stairs towards the end of this level. Take out one of the sets of mini nest nodes, and then a good place I find to hide out while you wait for them to regenerate is on top of this one little roof thing here. I guess it's kind of a deck. But anyways, while up here you're pretty safe. The red really only climbs up towards the end, so just hold out until they regenerate. Repeat this until it's on to the last nest nodes. I find it super handy to keep 2 grenades for the last set of nest nodes and the final large nest node. That's because you don't have to wait for it to regenerate, so you can just throw the 2 grenades very quickly and then head to the end of the level. Onto Trailer Trash. This is one of the rare levels where I am only going to recommend buying 2 grenades because that's really all you need. One grenade will be for when you're in a pinch. The other grenade will be used on some doors a little later on. But anyways, to start off, you run to the end of this one area, drop this bridge thing down, and then untie the boat. In this time, you have to just wait for the boat to drift down the river. So I find the best place to hold out is in this one tower. You can usually find a gas can or something to throw onto the stairs and then wait up there for a little bit. Once the boat looks like it hit something in the water, that's when you can jump onto it without dying. Run down the road a little bit, jump across these cars, and shoot down this first door on this building. This is when you'll be using your 1 grenade to take down the second door. That's because this building is a terrible place to get caught, so throw the grenade at that one door and keep on running. Take somewhat of the same path I'm taking. I just find it easiest to jump up on top of this roof and then jump across. You won't take any fall damage. I think it's the highest distance you can fall without taking fall damage or something. I don't know. Heading into this next level, if you still have a grenade left over, you can keep that grenade. If you used all of them, then you should start buying pipe bombs. You're going to need 3 of them for the level after this one, so you might as well buy 3 now just in case you need them within this level. This level is actually very simple. There's really no objective other than getting to the end, so just keep on running. Make sure you don't fall in any of the holes into the water. I have done that many times when I was starting this game. Eventually you'll learn where the holes are and it'll be good. We do have a breaker spawn, but as we all know, breakers are not a problem. We just keep on running past them and ignore them. Getting to the boat, this is where you could come into issues with specials inside the boat, especially towards the top of the boat where there's this one set of stairs. This is the only way to get to the safe room, and the game knows it. They love spawning specials on this staircase. You can see I only had 1 grenade, so I used it on the Reeker, and just my luck, a tall boy was right behind it waiting for me. So with no grenade, I just used the bot as kind of a distraction and ran around it. In the Broken Bird, you will need to be buying pipe bombs. I actually only buy 2. 3 would be ideal, but if you want to save some money, 2 is all you need. So the strategy that we're going to be doing is throwing 1 pipe bomb before we start hooking up the crates. Even though there are 3 that you have to hook up, you only need 2 pipe bombs because for the first container that you hook up, all of your bots should still be alive since you're at the very beginning of the level, meaning we can kind of rely on them to protect us while we hook it up. Moving on to the other ones, it's iffy whether the bots will still be alive. That's why we need the pipe bombs to distract while we hook up the containers. After you hook up the second one, a breaker will spawn. You can try to kill it in this downtime while you're waiting for the helicopter to come back, but it's really not necessary because once we hook up the third container, the level will instantly just end. For the last 3 levels in Act 2, we are going to be maxing out the amount of grenades we can hold because the last 3 levels are all about doing damage. In this level, we're going to be running down the street a little bit, coming back, and then using the minigun, mainly to be killing the other specials that are going to be spawning down the street, because the minigun's not really going to be doing a lot of damage to the ogre anyways. But the specials that spawn down the street are going to be pretty annoying, so just take them out while the ogre starts walking towards you. Once the ogre gets close enough and tries to throw something at you is when you should get off the minigun and start throwing your grenades at it. Most likely the grenades will not fully kill the ogre, so you will need to do a little bit of shooting. You can actually even run around the ogre and get back onto the minigun because these grenades should have taken all the armor off of it, and you can just finish it off. On to part 2. While you're inside the library, this is actually a good place you can go around and loot stuff. It's completely safe because it's a safe room, but there is money to be found and equipment, so just search around a little bit. Once you're done searching around, like I said, go and max out your grenades and then head outside. In this level, we have to kill an ogre and a breaker. After spawning in the ogre, I recommend running and getting on top of the roof. There tends to be some guns up here. You should take one that does more damage and then start shooting the ogre. You can throw a couple grenades as well, and a good trick is if you kind of stay to the edge of the gas station, the ogre will get really confused as to where it should be going. Like, it will jump on top of the roof, but if you kind of inch towards the edge a little more, it will think you're going to jump off, so it will jump off. It's just a really good way to mess with the ogre. It's kind of cheese, but who cares? Eventually, the breaker will be spawning in as well. In an ideal situation, you'll be close enough to the outer circle in order to leave like the closing ring before it is too late, but it doesn't always work out like that. Heading on to the last level of Act 2, buy all the grenades you can and then go around killing every screamer. Don't try to hold off the hordes in between killing the screamers, or no, they're called snitches. In between killing the snitches, go and kill all 5 of them. At this point, 2 breakers will spawn. First off, you need to run towards a breaker so the circle around them spawns in, and then run outside of it. Then you need to get both of the breakers in the same area while throwing all 4 grenades so it hits them both. With all 4 of your grenades, you should be able to kill them, especially if you've been buying upgrades, and possibly maybe you even bought it so you can hold more than 4 grenades. That would be good too. Woohoo! Heck yeah! We're on to Act 3, let's go! Here's the deck I used for Act 3. Pause the video if you want to copy it because we're moving on. Getting into the first level of this act, in the store you're buying the exact same setup we do for most of the levels. A stun gun, pain pills, and a grenade. The biggest thing to look out for on this level is the sleepers. As you're running down the hill, there's always one on that one shack. As you're going through the cornfield, you should be actively avoiding all of the birds that will spawn in it because you don't want to call in the hordes. I find that the best place to use the grenade on this level is once you get to the one house. Generally, both of the doors will be locked, so you'll have to shoot them down. Shooting down the front door is okay, and then throwing a grenade at the second door just makes your escape a little faster. The next level can be kind of annoying, and you may die a few times at practically the end of this level where you have to take out the nodes. Because with how far you have to run in this level, most of the bots are going to get killed on your way, and then you're just left all alone to deal with the hordes that will come in after you kill every set of nodes. It is very difficult having to run around the pool and avoid everything while you wait for these nodes to regenerate, so having one of the bots alive at this point is very crucial. Luckily with the deck we have, we should have 3 grenades to use to take out the specials that are giving us problems. I would recommend saving one grenade for the final large nest node just to get out of there as fast as possible, and then getting to the end of this level. Cabins by the Lake is another level that is actually quite easy. The first strategy we're going to use is we are not going to use the cable ferry to get across the lake. Make sure you don't call any hordes because that will completely ruin what we're about to do, but instead of using the cable ferry, we're just going to jump across the lake. It's much faster, and if you use the cable ferry, it calls in a horde, so that's just stupid. Hop across the lake. Once you get to the other side, run along the shore. This will skip you having to go through some houses and shooting down locked doors. Eventually you'll get to this last group of cabins and you'll have to look for the battery. Shoot next to any door that's alarmed, that way the Ridden will take it down while you search the other cabins, because the battery can be in any of these buildings. Once you find the battery, this is a weird strategy that I actually learned from a comment in one of my videos. If you run through some birds and call in a horde before you take the battery and run up the hill, this will prevent a large group of reekers from spawning towards the end where the safe room is, which is awesome because I have died a few times right at the end of this level because of this pack of reekers that they put in the game. So if there are some birds around, call in a horde. This is the only time I will ever tell you to call in a horde in this game on purpose. Up next we have Garden Party. So once you leave the safe room and start heading into the greenhouses, there will be a bunch of money on the ground. Just make sure you pick that up because that's free money. Why not? Anyways, once you finally get into this large greenhouse, you have to take out some nodes. There will always be sleepers at the top of both sets of stairs, so just look out for those as you go up them. And we will be spending most of the time in this greenhouse in the top platforms because those are the easiest spots to hold out and just not die. After taking out a set of mini nodes, go to either one of the ends up top, and this will funnel all the Ridden towards you down the lanes, meaning it will be really easy kills. Use a grenade for the final large nest node and then head to the maze. If you've watched our other videos, you'll know that we actually have a map that was made by Trade of the different versions of this maze. Here it is. You check it in the order of green, blue, red, meaning you run to the left, check if the green path is open. If it's closed, check the blue path. If that one's closed, obviously the red path is going to be open, and that's the way you're going to have to take through the maze. Knowing how the maze works and seeing this map, it becomes a lot easier to get through this part. Towards the end, hopefully you have one grenade left to throw at the door. This will take out the sleepers beside it, while also breaking it down because it's usually locked as well, and then you're at the end. Good job. On to everyone's favorite level, T5. This one is just so fun to play, but luckily we actually do have another map that was made by Blaze. Here is the map of the 3 floors in this house. It shows all the placement of the crates that you need to gather and put in the truck. So just kind of research these maps, learn the spots, and then you'll know exactly where you need to look. For the main floor, you can actually check where the crates have spawned before Rogers is done talking. That's a good thing to do while you're waiting. Another thing you can do is if you look at the basement map, there are a couple doors that you should shoot down. You can shoot them from the windows. Shooting them in this waiting phase will just save you time for when you're inside. You don't want to be wasting time shooting down these doors. Additionally, from the back you can actually shoot down another door that is on the top floor. This will just save you time and it gives you something to do in this waiting period. I forgot to mention that in this level we are not buying grenades, we are buying either pipe bombs or firecrackers, it doesn't matter. I find with this level, when you take a crate out to the truck and then try to go back inside, that's when you get swarmed the easiest, so this is a good time to use firecrackers to just move all the zombies aside. That way you can get back inside the door. The last thing I'd like to say about this level is for the top floor with the crates, I've been back and forth with the strategy of throwing them off the roof in the past, but because we do not have the speed we used to, we can't really make the jump to the truck without taking damage. So I'm going to say the best strategy is going to be throwing all the crates off the roof and then collecting them afterwards. Onto a friend in need, buy your grenades back, and then head down to this basement place. I don't know what it is. Anyways, you're looking for the key card. It's honestly, you're really just looking for that one dead security guard body. That way it can spawn in a few different places, but it's really not that hard to find. The grenades will be useful for if tall boys spawn, because those are honestly the biggest problem in this level. One strategy that's kind of dumb, but with our deck, while going through the furnace, if we shoot, we will actually go faster. It's just how the deck is, I don't know. Doesn't really make a difference. But anyways, after you head up the stairs, look out for sleepers. And if you have any grenades left, you can use them to break down the doors towards the end. After that, you just sprint towards the safe room. If you have made it this far into the video, congratulations. I'm surprised you could handle listening to me that long. Or possibly you just skipped to this part and got really lucky. But anyways, here's my secret for how to beat this game on Nightmare really easily. I will say that you should only use this exploit if you're really struggling, but if you are, anyways, in this game on offline mode, if you leave the game before you die, it doesn't use a continue. This is huge, honestly. It means you have endless attempts to beat the levels. You don't have to keep restarting from the individual checkpoints in each act, which can be super frustrating. So in this example, you can see I know I'm about to die, so I leave the game before the game knows I've lost. That way it doesn't count it, and I can just go back in. I still have one continue left or whatever, and we just keep on going. If you are still struggling, you can take this to the next level and die once in order to get an extra card, meaning you're even stronger, and then you can start using this trick in order to have endless continues, and you should be able to beat the game on Nightmare. Alright, here we go, on to making the grade. Max out your grenades and then head over to the school. This one door is always alarmed and always locked, so you're going to have to shoot that one down, and then you can open the other one. It is always unlocked. Going through, you have to take out a whole bunch of mini sets of nest nodes, take them out, and then find yourself a corner to just hold off the horde that's going to come. Other than that, I don't really have any strategy for this part. Rooms in which zombies can't spawn behind you are definitely the better ones to hold out in. For this level, I do not recommend you use a grenade on the final nest node unless you have to, because it's nice to just have those grenades moving forward to take out swarms of Ridden that are going to spawn within the gym. So once you do get to the gym, take out the sleepers that are around the room and take out the Ridden that's also in the gym before you start the generator. After starting the generator, the best place to hold off is definitely up in the bleachers, I think. Eventually one of the doors will pop open and you can go inside and find a battery. You can use a grenade to take out the horde of zombies that is usually popping out of these doors, making it much faster. After popping the battery back into the generator, get back onto the bleachers and hold off for a little bit. An ogre will spawn in, but it's really not that big of a threat. You definitely do not need to focus on trying to kill it because you'll be out of the gym before that's a problem. Once the bleachers are out a little bit, you can jump over onto them and then keep jumping to stay on them. Eventually you'll be able to jump out the window and head towards the end. At this point, your only worry is going to be all the sleepers scattered on every wall, so just look out for those. For this next level, I think grenades are your better pick, but pipe bombs will also work. These will mainly be used towards the end once you're opening up the gates. But before that, you're just running through this whole level. I don't really have much of a strategy for you to use. You're mainly just running through this whole level until you get to this one point where you have to find 3 beakers or something. There used to be a really cool strategy where you jumped over the gate and this whole level was bugged, but sadly they did fix that. As you're opening the gates, you should definitely shoot whatever's behind you before you start shooting what's on the other side of the gate. Obviously, the stuff behind you is more important to take out first. They're going to get to you first. I find a grenade or pipe bomb is useful for once you open up this first gate. There tends to be quite a bit of zombies around this one corner, and they can slow you down very easily. So a grenade or pipe bomb would be perfect. Alright, heck yeah, we're on to the last level of Act 3. Stock up on grenades, spend all your money, use the health kit on the wall, and then head down the mountain. The ogre's gonna spawn in, we're gonna run right past it, who cares? We're not gonna deal with that yet, because if you kill it now, another one will spawn, so it's just a waste of your time. Head to the left, killing the 3 nests as you go around. For the most part, this should be actually very easy. Nothing can really catch up to you since we have a decent amount of speed cards at this point. The hardest part of this level is towards the end where you have to kill the ogre. At this part, you're more likely to be grabbed by one of the stalkers or hit by a hawker, and then, I mean, those are just a real big pain in the butt since we only have one stun gun. But anyways, in order to take out the ogre easily, you should open up one of the T5 grenade boxes, throw a grenade at the ogre, and then pick up your grenades and toss all of those at it, and then just finish it off with your gun. Now we are done Act 1, 2, and 3, on to Act 4, which is basically just a boss fight. And it's an easy boss fight too. For Act 4, the final level, here's the deck I used. Pause if you want, whatever. Getting onto the game, there's a bunch of guns scattered around. The best guns to use are definitely the snipers or like the marksman rifles. I think the faster firing ones are probably better. And for a sidearm, the Tech 9, you really can't go wrong with it. In terms of what you should buy in the shop, some kind of offensive item upgrade, and then a bunch of grenades. Actually, the loadout we're buying is the exact same as every other time. Pain pills, stun gun, grenades. The main difference with Act 4 is that we're actually going to buy the stuff, like a bunch of grenades, a bunch of pain pills, and we're gonna go up these stairs and then we're gonna throw everything off onto the dumpster. That way we can buy more and then throw those off too. Basically just spend all your money on stuff and throw it over. That way you can just keep picking up grenades as you use them. Same goes for the pain pills and the stun gun. You can even put a health kit or a defibrillator, throw them over, why not? So the main strategy for taking out the 4 tentacles is going to be throwing a grenade at it. Hopefully it one-shots it. If you don't have the right cards or maybe you didn't get an offensive upgrade, it won't one-shot it, but that's fine. Every time you take out a tentacle, a horde is going to come in, so if you could possibly take out 2 tentacles at a time, that would be even better, because once you take out the final tentacle, then the hordes will stop coming up top. So obviously the faster you take out that 4th tentacle, the better it is. After you do kill all 4 tentacles, I recommend going back and picking up whatever stuff you used, healing up, getting ammo, and then you can jump on down. Once you've slid down, head over to the right side, and if you sit where I'm sitting, the abomination can't hit you with any of its attacks. The only thing you have to worry about is specials such as tall boys and whatnot. So you just sit where I'm sitting and wait until the mouth opens. Honestly, you should be focusing on tall boys and specials before shooting the mouth, because the abomination is not a threat to you at all. Everything else is. Once you get onto the 2nd phase of the abomination, actually I guess it's technically the 3rd phase because the tentacles, anyways, getting into the last phase, it's actually really easy. I don't know why it's the easiest phase. You just walk alongside of it and shoot all of its weak spots. Wow, that's some exciting gameplay. Anyways, that is how you beat the entire game on Nightmare. I hope this video helped a little bit. Comment whatever. I'm sure you guys will know some kind of strategy that I don't know that everyone could benefit from knowing. So just share the knowledge, you know. In the future, I'm going to be doing a lot more challenge videos on just random games. So if you're into that kind of stuff, then definitely think about subscribing. But yeah, that's the video. Thanks for watching and have a good one.